Welcome to Sell Better, Sell More, a wonderful course for existing and future sellers on the Microsoft Virtual Academy. My name is Lutz Diop. I'm the Dean of the For Africa Academy. This is one of my favorite courses that we ever produced. Of course, I'm biased. I'm a seller myself, have been for 20 years. But I do believe indeed it's one of the most fascinating careers that you can embark upon or advance in, and especially, but not exclusively, in the IT industry. We'll get you started by thinking a little bit of what to expect. You are watching it obviously right now on the Microsoft Virtual Academy. And this academy, the online academy, has a couple of real great benefits. One of them, you can study and learn anytime, anywhere. In fact, some of you might be sitting on your couch, maybe outside and enjoying a glass of wine while you are learning at the same time. The other big advantage of the Virtual Academy is that we can be very choosy and very selective in what kind of trainers, what kind of experts we are asking to help you understand where to go. And that's exactly what you've done. Throughout the course, you will see a hand-selected group of experts sharing their expertise and their knowledge and their insights. But we also needed someone to bring it all together. So we were looking for one of the most experienced, well-versed trainers and coaches in selling, especially one with African experience as well. And we found him. I'm very happy to introduce to you Tony Morris. Tony, please introduce yourself.
Thank you for your kind words, Lutz. My name is Tony Morris. Since I started Torso Talk as a brand name about 15 years ago, I've had the pleasure of supporting almost 17,000 people across 59 countries in the world. And I've supported them by sharing real-life knowledge, skills, and experience in the hope that 35 years of experience can be condensed into a shorter period so you don't have to spend 35 years learning. I'm particularly proud of the fact that within all of these people, I've worked with more than 400 of Microsoft's partners across the continent of Africa and beyond. So I've had the pleasure of working across North Africa, all of Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, and just a little bit in Nigeria, a start up the West Coast. My focus has always been on helping salespeople to sell better. Because by selling better, logically, we're going to sell more. That expertise, sorry, forgive me, Lutz, that expertise is not just focused on the IT industry, that covers telecoms, oil services, even aerospace and defense. So it's a very wide range of programs to satisfy all.
We are really very, very glad to have an expert with your background and your experience. I'm looking out for the 35 years condensed into a couple of hours. So we will cover a lot of ground, from value proposition, walking in customer shoes, communication, presentations. But it's also my understanding you have a very unique approach that you add to the traditional sales training.
Well, I like to think so, and that is sales training. There are thousands of companies globally who teach salespeople to become better at selling. The thing that I found, one major gap, if you like, in sales training, in my experience, has been an in-depth look at body language, non-verbal communication, in particular when it comes to the importance, the relevance to sales. So yes, that is, if you like, the unique selling proposition of Tony Morris.
Wonderful. Actually, let me start with a unique, maybe a very tough question right away. I hear very often, well, you're either born a salesperson or you're not. You can't really learn to be a salesperson. Can anybody learn to be a salesperson?
The answer is yes, Lutz. Anyone can learn. Look, the reality is, if you think about artists, for instance, some people have a natural aptitude for art. Some of the world's greatest artists were born with that capability, that aptitude. Training enhances a natural aptitude. Now, not everyone is born, if you like, with what we call in Europe the gift of the gab. In other words, the ability to sell ice to the Eskimos. We don't all have that. But you know what? Anyone can learn to sell. Those who already have experience, we can enhance it. Those who haven't got the experience, we can help them. And that's exactly what this program's about.
That's really reassuring. The other question I often get is, Lutz, a lot of things are getting automated. There's more social marketing. Everything is online. Do we still need sellers? Is the market ready for us?
Well, the market has always been ready for sellers, all right? And fine, I totally accept, with some of the new technology, there are certain things that can be sold via social media, that can be sold online, over and above the traditional face-to-face and telephone selling. There is absolutely a critical need for face-to-face selling, because the reality is that the technology, some of it, especially at the high end, it is very sophisticated, it can be very complex, and you can't just sell that via the internet.
And the other truth, I think, Tony, is technology nowadays is really making leaps and bounds in what we can do. And if you look around, whether it's our professional life, how we entertain ourselves, how we learn, how we actually go about our life, technology is providing more and more of those solutions. And so really the marketplace is there for technology-rich solutions, but we need how to position them and how to sell them effectively.
I think that's absolutely fair comment. If we look especially at the continent of Africa, there is a huge opportunity for face-to-face technology selling. There is an awful lot of technology available. The technical training is available, but for us who are going out there selling, perhaps we can enhance our current ability, or if it's new people, perhaps we can help to teach them how to sell and to succeed and grow not only your own life, but the companies that you're working for.
Yeah, exactly. The other really interesting thing is technical training is readily available. In fact, you are using the Microsoft Virtual Academy, hundreds of courses, thousands of hours of high quality free training available to you. On the other hand, sales training not so much. And the irony is, can you study becoming a seller?
Yes, you can. And you can read books, of course, if you want to. Not everyone can afford to get a sales trainer into an organization for a live training. It's not always necessary, it's not always relevant. But especially with this kind of an approach, anyone, I repeat, anyone can learn to sell. And if you don't feel like reading a book because maybe it's a bit dull, it may be a bit dull, dry, boring, do you know what? These modules, we're going to have some fun, and there are some very, very important messages.
They're definitely for
They're
you.
all there for you.
And the other irony is that you can't actually study becoming a seller. It's one of the college degrees that don't exist. So in a way, we are filling a void with this course, selling better and selling more.
Do you know what? That's an interesting point that you raised, Lutz. You can get a degree, a university degree, in any subject you think of, except for selling. I'm not aware of any that you can get. So here's an opportunity. Why didn't we start a university degree via the internet in selling?
We will talk about that. And I think this very course is actually a start.
It is indeed.
We need to remove another kind of misconception that I hear frequently is, well, selling is all about tricks. It's kind of the sleight of hands. You're really taking advantage of a customer. So can we be taken seriously?
Lutz, people have this misconception that selling is all about convincing a customer to say yes, 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 often enough, so that when you ask for the contract, they will say yes and sign it.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's like hundreds of years ago in America, they had what they called snake oil salesmen who sold a bottle of some concoction which was a cure-all for anything and everything. Selling is not magic. It's not about tricks, techniques. It's not about sleight of hand. Do you know what? Quite honestly, selling is nothing more than a business discussion between human beings. And that is one of the reasons why that human interface is so critically important.
And that's why I believe what you will bring to the table throughout the courses really helps people to understand it and master it.
That's
what it is.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Good. So this is a training course. This is a virtual classroom. Classroom, for many people, they think theory, dull, learning, reminding of their school days. What do we expect?
Nothing that I'm going to share with you is theory. I promise you, I'm taking 30-odd years of real-life practical experience. I don't want you to make the many mistakes that I've made over those 35 years. What I would like to share with you are the good points, the plus points, those things that are going to help you to succeed in your sales job. Now, some of the thoughts I'm going to share with you may at first seem a little bit strange, a bit unusual. If you have already sales experience, you may think, hey, that's a bit crazy. Well, it's like anything in life. If you don't try, you won't know. My promise, my commitment is nothing that I'm going to share with you in this program is anything other than tried, tested, proven. It's real, it works. I hasten to add, however, not everything that I share with you will work for you all of the time, but at least give it a try. I know it works. It may not work for you at a particular time with a given customer.
So it is a hands-on approach. We will roll up our sleeves.
And you notice I already have short
You are ready
sleeves.
for it.
I'm
Absolutely.
ready for it.
So I have one more thing that I need to get out of the way.
Okay.
I go through all the courses, all the modules, you name it. I already have my head full going into a customer call. There's a long list of things I have to remember. Are you just adding more to them and confusing me even further?
To be honest with you, Lutz, what I'm giving you is something to help simplify it. I'm sure
I need simplification, I tell you, in my life in general.
Well, so do I. You know what? That's why I can do
It
this,
resonates.
all right? Because I don't like the You know, I have a simple attitude, Lutz. Life is very simple. It's just people who complicate it.
So let's get it simplified right now for the sellers.
Imagine any sales cycle from the very first meeting to the end where hopefully you actually sign the contract. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that throughout that whole process, customers ask many questions. Am I right?
Hundreds, thousands sometimes.
Right. Well, the key point is, if you think about all of those questions, they can be subdivided into answering one of two only fundamental questions.
Come on, Tony, you must be kidding me.
No, I'm
All
not.
those hundreds of questions, there's literally two?
Two questions.
Would you mind sharing them with us?
Of course we'll do that. If you think about it, the first fundamental question that any customer asks is, can you do the job? That means, can you satisfy our requirements within our time scale and preferably within our budget? Isn't that what many of these questions are all about?
I think so. So really, you boil it down to, are you the person that I can trust will get the job done? Do you have what it takes to get the job done?
Absolutely. That's the first one. Now, the reality is that question is, if you like, part of the customer's formal, official decision-making process. And if you want an extreme example, let's think about a tender. What are they asking? They're telling you what we're looking for. And we reply, compliant,
Obviously, yeah.
partially compliant, non-compliant.
Can do this,
so on.
can do that.
Most salespeople focus on answering that question. And that's right, we have to do that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Behind the scenes, there's another question.
And obviously, I would love to know that one
And
as well.
that is an informal one, it's a hidden one. And that quite simply is, do we want to work with you rather than your competitor? And that's all about the whole relationship side. Are you familiar with the expression, people buy from people they like?
Of course I am, and I've used it myself.
Absolutely. Here's a thought for you. Absolute rubbish.
Come on.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
We all repeat it. It must be wrong. It must be right.
No, it's rubbish. People buy from people they trust. If they like you, it's a bonus. I can think of a particular company I used to work with a long time ago, major global company. The marketplace disliked that company very much. And the reason they disliked them is because it was a particularly arrogant, aggressive, egotistical company.
I have a vague idea who we're talking about. We'll leave it alone.
We'll leave it alone. The reality, however, is that people bought from them and they kept buying from them because they trusted the company. Didn't like them. Like doesn't come into it. So when we talk about this second question, do we want to work with you rather than with your competitor? It's all about trust. So whilst officially they are evaluating your offer compared with your competitors, behind the scenes there's a whole different discussion. Do we really want to work with them? Do we trust them?
Yeah.
Are they reliable? Are they dependable? And even if you are more expensive, if they trust you more than a cheaper competitor, they're going to buy from you.
I think that's really, really insightful. If you really boil it down to those two fundamental questions, can you do the job? Do you have what it takes? But do I trust you in our relationship as well? That's what it really boils down to. And obviously, we'll talk about how to gain that trust.
Yes, no, that's we're definitely going to talk about it. You know, in my experience, actually, as important as the first question is, you have to be able to demonstrate you can do the job.
Absolutely.
But far more important is that second question. And that's really one of the key things that we're going to focus on.
I think what it also implies is that the customer and seller relationship has dramatically changed. It's not what it used to be any longer.
Lutz, it has changed very much. You know, the traditional approach to selling was quite simply, okay, what are the features, the functions? Oh yes, almost as an afterthought. And what are the benefits of it?
And we as technology companies love to add features.
Absolutely. And the more, the better. Companies, as we'll discuss later on, they're not buying features and functions. They're buying what satisfies their business need. And so the approach that we need to adopt today is completely different. Remember, it's all about a business discussion. And I'm sorry to tell a technologist that technology does not drive business. It's business that drives technology. So the focus has to be on business. And what we're really looking for here is a focus on the customer's business issues and then looking for ways in which we can satisfy and take care of those.
So really, we want to help you to understand how you as a seller have to relearn how to approach a customer, because the whole relationship changes as well. And it's my understanding, if you do that effectively, your valuation, your relationship to the customer gets better and better, it gets kind of elevated?
Yes, absolutely. It's really, ultimately, it's all about sales behavior.
Yeah.
You know, my country in England, although actually I tend to think that I'm more African than English, but that's a different story. If you really think about it, if in England you behave like a football hooligan, like a lunatic, people are going to perceive you as being an idiot, a hooligan, a lunatic.
And stay away from you.
Why would it be any different in selling?
Yeah.
If you behave fundamentally, if you behave like an idiot in selling, customers are going to think you're an idiot. So really what we need to do, and that's really what this program is all about, it's helping you to modify, adapt, change, if need be, your sales behavior so that you move away from the typical street fighting vendor, I'm the best, better than all the rest, and become more customer oriented. Think about the customer's business issues, their needs, and you know what? If we do that right, then we ultimately will achieve where we all want to be, and that is to become the customer's preferred vendor, if you like, their trusted advisor in terms of the application of technology to satisfy business needs.
Somehow I have a hunch, if we get there, we are selling better, and consequently, we are selling more.
Absolutely, Lutz.
You know what, Tony, I can't wait to go into those courses. Again, even with many, many years of experience, I am sure I will get something out of it as well, because you can always do better, you can always elevate yourself. So what's in the hopper for us? What can we expect from the whole course as we dive into it?
Well, as I've said, you know, it's that human interface, because it's a business discussion. That is absolutely key. And by the human interface, I'm talking about everything from meeting and greeting people all the way through, especially a focus on the body language. And I'm sure you'd like an answer to the question I've always been put everywhere. How can I tell if someone is lying? We're going to cover that. But we're going to go all the way through presentations, you know, compelling need to buy, competitive strategies, negotiation. And we're going to end up with what I am absolutely certain is the most powerful executive summary for any proposal. And that's a promise.
Wow. It sounds to me like a full body workout for becoming a better salesperson.
A full body workout. I like that, yes, because that kind of body language, body workout for sales.
We'll see how it goes. So again, thank you very much for joining us. Have a fun learning experience. I think the Microsoft Virtual Academy will allow you, again, to learn any place, anytime. Of course, all of the courses are for free. The other advantage is you can go back to any course that you want to revisit. You can take them in any order. We structured them somehow, but you can obviously jump around. You can skip things as the need may be. I can't wait to get started.
It's all for free?
It is all for free.
My goodness, register now.
Thank you very much. Enjoy learning, become a better salesperson, and sell more.